Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited about this topic because we just got to get real about some things. And I think it's kind of a wild story, and I'm here to share it with you guys. Also, I'm trying something new with my hair. So if we're here for this, comment below. Just because when you think about dreadlocks, you're like, all right, there's two styles, up or down. But now I'm just like, let's be diverse, let's have fun.
We're lock stars. Or Aries.
Here it is, Mega. Wow.
So now that we got that out the way, this is how I started modeling. And this story is kind of crazy because it was one of those things where I was never like a young girl dreaming of like, one day I'm gonna be a supermodel. I never even thought that I could step into that world because I'm like, who out there even looks like me? Who's Thixies? You know, so we're used to a certain type, right? Let's be real. We're used to a certain body type, a certain look. And so I just never thought about it. As you guys may know, I'm a singer-songwriter. So naturally, that was my main focus. But let's take it all the way back. I'm thinking let's go back to when I was about to turn 19, okay? My mom met this spiritual advisor lady. I would explain that whole thing, but let's like make it short and sweet and simple because it's pretty wild. So she meets her, and me, I'm into like astrology. I'm not like super into astrology to where like I'll break down everything, but I'm into it enough to know to want to know what your sign is, whatever. So I'm into that. I'm into manifestation. I'm into really believing that you can do something and then like it actually happening with, of course, effort and hard work and all that crap that we have to do along with it. But so my mom meets this lady and she surprises me on my 19th birthday with a little session with her. And basically I call her a spiritual advisor because she's just like, you know, she's not like it is written, you know, it's free will. It's whatever happens in your life, whatever decisions you make will lead you to the next, you know, the next space in your life. So she doesn't want to put it set in stone that this is what's going to happen. But this specific conversation I had with this lady who's freaking amazing. She's like an aunt now. Love you if you're watching. And she basically told me, listen, you're gonna sign a contract with a man and a woman. She was kind of not certain on the timing of it, but she's like, you're signing this contract. So years go by, and every year, guys, when I tell you, I'd be like, where's this contract? Where's my job? What's happening? Where's my music deal? Like what's happening? Because I wanted to be a singer. So I'm naturally like, I'm gonna be the next Beyonce. Like I'm over here thinking I'm about to be killing it, selling out shows. I'm dreaming about me in Madison Square Garden. As the years go on, the contract doesn't come, right? So 3 years ago, I was working as a receptionist at a spot. 2 years or 3 years, I think maybe 2.5 years now, whatever. It was some time. I was working as a receptionist at a spa, right? And you know, just to keep it all the way real, I did not like it at first at all. I actually hated it. I would dread it. I would cry before going in there. I would be like, Mom, I just know this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't understand. Now, for someone who dropped out of college, it's just like, well, girl, this is what you got to do right now, you know? But I just felt like there's something more. But I'm not gonna front and say I was in there all cheery and chipper like initially. Of course I was, you know, respectful and trying to do my best, but I was definitely giving off the energy of like, you know, this is not permanent. This is just a stop along the way. So after getting kind of used to, all right, this is a job, Mega, give it your all, because in life, that's what you do to get to the next level, because sitting around and being upset at the world is obviously not gonna help you. So she reeled it all the way in, and I gave my best energy that I could give to that job. And I will say I really enjoyed working there after a while, and I grew a lot of great connections with the people that worked there. And so that was great. But then the pandemic happened. I feel like we should have a dun dun dun, because then shit got real. So right before the pandemic, what was I doing? I was just doing my regular stuff. So like I said, I'm a singer-songwriter, right? So I did a mini tour with So Far Sounds. I'll try to put a little clip in of me on tour. It was freaking phenomenal.
This is last. Guys, I want to cry. All right, let's just do it.
Amazing. Just to be able to go somewhere and not know anyone and perform for them and they actually like it, you're like, whoa, this is a possibility in life. So I'll definitely touch on that a little more too, because it was really amazing. But I did my little trip, my tour, and then the pandemic happens. So there we are. I go back to work. We're hearing, during that time you're hearing stuff and you're like, what's going on, whatever. But also you're like, I don't want to feed into it. I'm above the news, whatever. So then we shut down. And so I think everyone was like, yes, no work. But then you're also like, shit, what's happening in the world? Like, people are not well. This isn't a good thing. But I decided to use that time personally for myself. I'm like, if I'm gonna be home, what can I do creatively? Because I'm the type of person where like, she needs her creative juices flowing at all times. So, well, not at all times, let's be real. Like, I'll sit around and watch Sex and the City all damn day. But sometimes I need to be creative. So I decided to, because we was getting them stimulus checks, let's be real. So with the checks, I would order from Pretty Little Thing, Misguided, J Lux label. I'd order from all of those places and I'd get different outfits and I'd but I'd convince my mom and my best friend, I'd convince them to take photos of me and we'd like drive to the city and we'd hop out, take photos, hop back in, go home. Literally, this is what we were doing. And it was so fun because naturally I'm used to being in front of the camera. My brother's a photographer, he's a videographer. We're always, well, he's shooting the video right now. And so I'm naturally just comfortable with it. But as far as like dressing up and stuff like that, that's different for me, putting outfits together and trying to figure that out. But you can actually scroll on my Instagram and you can see how like consistent I was. Cause that was the other thing. I'm like, girl, if you're gonna do this, be consistent. There's nothing else to do. So everyone's on social media anyway. So they're gonna see it. So I really do think that gave me some confidence to submit to an agency. So this is how it happened, guys. I'm scrolling on Instagram. I find this gorgeous model. I always slaughter her name, so I'm not even gonna attempt to say it. But in her bio, it was like Jag Models. And I was like, Jag Models. So I went on Google and I looked them up and I watched like some YouTube videos on them. I basically went into full stalker mode. Also, this is a sidebar. I'm a Scorpio and I'm a detective. So if you ever need me to find something out, call me because I got you. Because the way I will find everything out is severe. So I do my research and I'm like, I love everything they stand for. Like, this is incredible. And I don't know what came over me to just be like, I'm gonna submit, but I did it. I submitted and my photos probably were not that good now thinking about it and looking back on them, but guess what? I did it and I took a chance. And so 3 days go by and within the 3 days, guess what happens? I get called back into the spa. They're like, oh, we're back up and running, blase blah. So now we're back in the spa, right? I'm at the desk and I get an email because now I'm looking at my phone. Now my phone's right by the computer. I'm checking people in, enjoy your service, but I'm also like, is someone gonna email me back, whatever? Okay. So I get an email and someone reaches out to me and it's basically like, like let's set up a Zoom call. And I'm like, oh my God. I started thinking about it. I'm like, damn, this is one of those scams. It's a setup. They're about to be like, what's your banking number? And I'm not gonna give it to them. So whatever, I call my mom and I'm like, Mom, I gotta do this Zoom call after work. I was like, should I run home and like change and put makeup on and do all this stuff and prep myself? And she was like, I think you should just go in the car after work in your uniform as your natural self and show them who you are. Like, I don't think it has to be this whole dramatic thing, And I'm glad I took that advice. I don't know if it had something to do with how everything happened, but it was definitely something that I can look back now and say like that was the best decision for me personally to make, because naturally I'm not someone, believe it or not, who puts a bunch of makeup on every day or like is like this bam boom. Like I just ordered this blazer because I'm like, all right, I want to spice things up, but it's not always like that for me. You know, I just want to be comfortable in my own skin. So I get in the car, I have the Zoom call, and it's amazing. Like it was just the best, most natural call ever. And I took it as no matter where this thing goes, like no matter what happens, if they want to work with me or not, I just to be able to say I did that was really dope to me. So fast forward, guys, I end up getting signed, and the rest is history. No, I'm just kidding. I get signed, and with that, I'm just like, okay, I'm signed now. Do I call myself a model? Like this imposter syndrome will peek in and crush your dreams. Like you'll be like, what am I doing? And like, am I supposed to be doing something right now? Should my language be different? Like how do I send a proper professional email? There's so many different things that come into play. But when I tell you, I got the greatest agency of all time. And trust me, I'm new to this whole world, so I really don't know about all the agencies in the world, but what I do know is Jag Models in New York City is the greatest agency ever. And it's the people, and it's the fact that there's such a respect there that I have for them and that they have for me, and it's just like nothing that I would have ever dreamed, especially going into it with absolutely no expectations. And guys, now, the present day, 2022, the world is just kind of getting back to normal in a way. So now I'm really seeing like, oh, this is how this modeling business works really. Because when I signed, it was, it was slow. We didn't know what was going on. So now I'm kind of really getting into the thick of it. But I just want to now highlight some of my most incredible moments working with Jag so far. So I have this little photo here because my first job was with Aerie, and it was with my great soul sister, I call her, Evanique. And this is our first photo. I can't even speak today. This is our first photo we ever took. And also, it's just my first job ever. So she was so sweet enough. She was like, you keep it. This is like a moment. You should always have this. So I keep it with me always. If I travel, I'll slip it in my suitcase because I think it's just sweet and something to remind myself like, be you, be authentic. Don't try to be cool in this industry. There's a lot of, and it's no shade. Some girls are just naturally cool. And I'm like, wow, you've got it. But me, I am not cool. I trip, I spill. I can barely swallow what I'm drinking. Like for some reason, there's a hole in my throat. It always misses. So I think that's dope though. Like that's who you are. Do you? My brother's like, no, bitch, you wipe your fucking mouth. But I'm saying, like, I'm a slob sometimes. Like, I'm not a slob. I'm messy, but my house is clean.
Period, poo.
Anyway, so Aerie was a huge part of my career, I'd say. Just that team. Like, I remember talking to my agent, and I was just like, oh my God. Like, when he called me, and he was like, you booked Aerie a campaign. Me and my mom were like, what is going on? Da-da-da-da. Whatever, we're screaming, we're like, oh my God, thank you, whatever, we hang up. And I'm like, wait, Mom, what's a campaign? And so we had to do, like, guys, when I tell you I had no idea about the industry, but I promise, like, that was the best thing for me. Like the fact that I had no expectations, because with no expectations, you don't get any disappointments, and you're just like, well, throw me in it, you're just excited. So there was so much excitement there. And Aerie, when I tell you, it was the greatest experience I probably could have ever had for my first time, my first job with modeling. Prior to that, of course, I was like working on my posing. I was doing different things in the mirror. I was talking to the agents there, like trying to create connections and all that stuff. And I was doing test shoots. So for this to be like my big job, it was insane. So that how do people say it? Like when you end up in Times Square, I basically ended up in Times Square, right? The campaign comes out, I'm on their website, I'm in frickin' Times Square. Who would have thought? I've walked Times Square a bunch of times with my grandmother going to not the Christmas Spectacular, like the Broadway shows. And there's been so many moments where I've been in Times Square and never looked up and been like, it would be cool if I could be up there. I never thought that, and now I'm up there. I'm up there right now, guys, actually. That's crazy. So boom, that's the first highlight. The second highlight is insane. And honestly, I gotta talk more about this job, and I'll probably do that in another video because whoa, it's hilarious. But guys, I was on a Google billboard. Like, first it started at the bus stops. Someone called me and they were like, oh no one called me. My uncle posted and he was like, yo, niece, is that you? Like, I think you're at a bus stop. For me, I was like, oh my God, I'm at the bus stop. I'm dead, I'm dying. So I drove to exactly which bus stop he was talking about. Cause also I do wanna say, I'm not one of those models that like, if things come out, like I see it when I see it. I'm like stalking that page, like I'm gonna see myself. This is huge for me. And it happens every time I do that. So like I'm the same way every time. So I'm at the bus stop. Now this is the kicker. Maybe 2-3 days go by and our mutual friend, me and my brother, she's like walking, she sends a video to us and she's like walking on, what street was that? Like, damn. Houston, no. Anyway, she's walking in the city and she's like, Mega's on a billboard up here. I don't know if you know, but this is fire. And so immediately, my brother sent it to me. We're dying, we're screaming. I actually have a video of sending it to one of my good friends, and I'll post that because I had to screen record him because like, this is crazy, y'all. And me and my brother went and we saw it, and I don't know, like I almost want to go back to the moment because you really try to relish in it and enjoy it, but it's almost just like so surreal that like I haven't even cried because I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just excited. Like, well, ain't nothing to cry about. Like, I'm hyped. So that was incredible. Then guys, the third highlight, like these are the biggest highlights. And in between, I've worked with incredible clients, just to throw it out there, like Peloton and like Target and Amazon. And I did a Kohl's commercial, guys. That's another highlight too. But this last one is super special to me, and I'll leave you guys with this because obviously I have locks, I have dreads. These are dreads, not braids. Just throwing that out there. So I have dreadlocks, right? And I've had my dreads my whole life. I never had like, I don't know what it looks like if I didn't have dreads. I don't know what that would look like. And my mom used to like tie my hair a certain way for school sometimes, and kids would like run by and be like ding dong, and they lift my hair up or whatever, because like she kind of made it like a fucking doorknob. I don't know why she did that, like a door knocker. And elementary school, you know, kids are assholes, let's be real. So they'd mess with me about that, and like I don't know how I felt. Maybe I was like whatever, maybe I felt a way about it. I really don't know. It probably didn't affect me that much, but obviously it did because I'm talking about it today. So when I got the call that I was gonna be in Allure magazine for a 4-page spread, 3-page spread about dreadlocks and the beauty of them, I was just like, yo, God has a funny way of turning things all the way around. I'm being embraced now, and I'm being presented, and I can be inspiring for girls with dreads, right? And I'm in Allure magazine. That's insane to me. So when I found that out, I was so nervous, but the shoot was amazing, and it was just a great team. And I stalked, like I said, every freaking magazine store that I could until I found that magazine. I was like waiting until that month. I was counting down, and the month finally came, and I went to go see it, and there's footage on that too. I'm excited to share with you guys, but it just goes to show that, like, you know, when you're younger, you think every little thing, it's like the end of the freaking world, and it's really not. There's so much more life to live. I'm 25, so there's 30-year-olds are looking at me like, girl, please, like, wait till you hit 30. Like, it's not even the best of the best yet. So I was really excited to share this story with you guys because it's kind of crazy. It's very, I don't know if it's, you would say normal, but I wasn't scouted. I wasn't like dreaming of this since I was born. You know, I was a singer, and now I'm a model, and now I do both, and I'm just so blessed and honored to be able to do this. And it's also just so exciting because I have little cousins and I have little girls that look up to me in a way, and they're like, wow, that's really dope. Like, and I know people always say that it's a cliche thing to say when it's like, there's little girls looking up at me, but there really are. And especially in my African American community, like, we need to basically shine, and they're letting us in these doors, so we got to kick them down. But that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There will, of course, be more model stuff, but I want to kind of do a mix of some singing stuff too, because I know you guys are like, well, where's the music at? But thank you for joining me. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon for another video.